Welcome folks, I am Jaby Koay, joined by POOJA SHAH. We're gonna look at the redeemed and the dominant trailer, The Fittest on Earth CrossFit movie. I was curious to check this out, mainly because I'm very much into fitness myself. I like to lift a weight or two here or there. I thought that this would be right up my alley to investigate.
What our athletes are doing, everyone thinks is impossible. That you can be that fast, that you can be that strong. You can have that many different skills. You can walk on your hands, clear an obstacle course. They also train fitness more than anyone else in the world.
Tia Toomey has been second overall at the CrossFit Games the last 2 years. And she has filled one of the most important holes in her game. It's not a bar, it's not a movement, but it's what's between the ears. 5 feet remains. Toomey is not gonna break. Oh no! And she just got a no rip.
I hope you play your cards right. I hope you are in the best shape of your life. I want a good race. I want to feel good about this win.
And this crowd is going insane. There's no pacing, there's no gaming. Get the work done.
This is going to be an absolute grenade on the point spin. Do you think there are steroids in our sport?
Yeah, I can. Definitely.
Are there athletes who are essentially cycling off so they can test clean at the games? Possibly.
The scenario that I'm competing against someone that's a contender at the games, like I know they're doping. You're not willing to put in that work, you're not willing to put in those hours, then get the out of here.
Something is amiss here, and it could have major implications. The most dominant performance of all time. Oh my goodness, what a finish!
Wow. You know, in that whole trailer, what I noticed was one of the guys screaming had a funky mustache. How do you feel about steroids in general?
For performance enhancement, it's not okay. There's so many side effects to it, and it's cheating.
I've listened to Bill Burr a lot, who's a comedian, and he's actually talked about steroids. He's like, look, if someone wants to destroy themselves to become the best of the best, let them. You know, I want my baseball players to go out there as just one big chest muscle, the bat between his pecs, swinging. I don't know how to feel about it. Obviously, I am not someone who uses that because I'm not yokes like that. I wouldn't personally do it, and I wouldn't want anyone I know or care about to do it, but I feel like people should be allowed to do what they want with their body.
Well, no,
You know?
I completely agree. I also just think that it just, you can just lose control. I mean, especially when you're in competition mode, you're kind of willing to do as much as it takes, as far as it'll go. You can really lose touch when you start supplementing with things that aren't natural. But at the same time, no, I completely agree. You should have the freedom to do what you want.
Yeah. You just can't use that while you're in the ring, while you're in the competitions, while you're training for that stuff. They don't want you using it. Hey, I get it.
Also, after watching this, my mind goes in 2 different directions. I want to like work out more and build more muscle. Like, this is motivating, but then at the same time, this is a lot.
You don't have to do all that. You can just like take it halfway and you're still amazing. I'll stay in bed. I'll eat my donut at home on the couch.
Yes.
There is a star in India named John Abraham. While I was in India, some guy recognized me. He works in the films over there and he worked with John Abraham. And there was a scene where John Abraham had to eat a pizza. He said he had not eaten a pizza in 20 years. Because he's always got to be fit. He's always got to be on point with his body because that's, you know, his career. He's the yoked movie star. I'm willing to make that sacrifice to have that kind of body. It's a tough lifestyle. People underestimate just how rigorous you have to be mentally to get there. And I found that over the
very true.
past several years of doing gymnastics, martial arts, and weightlifting, most of that stuff is actually more mental than anything else. Most people, I believe, can do backflips and stuff like that. It's just mentally getting over the fear of it, mentally getting past what you think your limitations are. Not too long ago, I did some deadlifts and I picked up 300 something pounds. I forget how much I picked up. I picked up my max weight ever, and I realized that I probably had that strength for a while. It was just mental. The mental hurdle of picking up that much weight. All these people I'm looking at, they're working brutally hard. I never even knew about this competition, by the way. I want to watch this.
But at the same time, I also feel like sometimes their form is a little... I wouldn't be so technical about this, but...
Are you a weightlifter also?
I'm not necessarily...
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been taught how to properly lift weights. When you're doing things like this, like pull-ups or whatever things that repetitiously, with CrossFit in particular, sometimes their form is so bad and it's like a recipe for injury.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I can't remember if it was CrossFit or something else, but there is a sport that a lot of people subscribe to. It might be CrossFit, where a lot of people have really bad form and hurt themselves very regularly. I see people doing those lifts at the gym, and I think those are Olympic lifts that they're doing, but I just feel like people are gonna hurt themselves the way they're doing.
Well,
it
yeah,
sometimes,
well,
like,
because
their
I think
head.
from my understanding of CrossFit, it's how many you can do within a certain amount of time. If your aim is to do as many as you can, then you're going to lose the form. You're not gonna do a perfect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thing every time. But one thing I also know about CrossFit, it almost creates like a family, because the people that go to these particular gyms, they see each other all the time, and then you notice that someone broke their 10 rep record to 15 or something, and then you get kind of rewarded with that support system. So that's one thing I really like about CrossFit. It becomes kind of like a family versus going to the gym by yourself, more motivation in that sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely want to check this out, and I definitely would love to go to one of these games. These CrossFit games look bananas. I never even knew these existed.
Look at the crowd.
Yeah, like even
there's a lot of people there.
Even though I'm not interested in training CrossFit per se, I would definitely be open to going to a game or two. I bet I could totally do well at these hand walking competitions, by the way. I do pretty well on that.
Are those stationary bikes?
Yeah, they're doing stationary bikes. It's a whole, circuit thing.
Right.
Like seeing
you
what
go
you
from
can
the bike
do.
to this to that.
I don't know if you're doing it all at once, but I think you're competing in all of these things and seeing where you rank after doing all that stuff. Or maybe you're just competing in individual little things that are there, like a gymnastics thing, They have the saddle or whatever it's called, and they got the rings, they have, all those different, I don't know the names and stuff. I was very intrigued by the trailer, and I'm happy to check it out. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Please be sure to check out POOJA SHAH on the social media. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
POOJA SHAH.
Peace out.